So sorry, but I'm not taking off my glasses.
Lockyer takes a shot. It's low. He's got it. I think he's got it.
Merlin, are you going to speak?
But for me, it was a winner. David.
Well, I'm afraid it wasn't for me, Margaret.
Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
On.
Ooh. All right. What are we starting at?
66.
Brilliant. I was actually going to say that.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, 66.
Oh, imagine.
3, 2, 1, 63. 3, 2, 1, 59. 3, 2, 1, 57. 3, 2, 1, 47. 3, 2, 1, 46. 3, 2, 1, 40.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, you can feel the deflation. Can't you?
Let's leave that in as a special treat.
Okay, let's do it.
We've already started.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're listening to this, you've tuned into episode 66 of On the Air Tonight, the number one podcast that used to bring you free-to-air television, then diverted to no real sensical content, and brought you lots of random tangents, but is sadly coming to an end.
Don't! Shut up.
All right, no, we're not ending just yet.
Okay.
At the end of this episode, we are.
We do have a special episode 66 for you, ladies and gentlemen, you spuds out there. Sorry to break the news to you. This isn't a joke. The show comes to an end.
This is the finale. We're executing episode 66.
Execute order 66.
Do it.
Do it.
The force is not strong with us.
We've Palpatined ourselves. Palpatine's come in here and he's gone, you know what, boys? The force has been a little bit weak in you lately.
If we're Emperor Palpatine, the podcast has been Anakin. We've lured this innocent little nucleus into our shadows, and we've grown it into this beast.
We've groomed it,
and now it's now thrown us into some kind of tractor beam.
Well, it's become too powerful for us.
Yeah, until
as Vader becomes more powerful than Palpatine and eventually kills him, the show has shot lightning bolts at us and thrown us into over the edge of a
railing
and into the depths of the Death Star.
Yep, into some sort of tractor beam type thing. And all we can really hope for at this point in time is that the podcast is bought out for $4 billion by Disney, and then we get rehashed, much like Darth Sidious does in the latest Star Wars that I haven't seen. If that's a spoiler for you, I'm sorry, but movie's been out for a while. I haven't seen it, and I know that.
Spoiler, OTAT's ending and Obi-Wan Kenobi exists as a TV show. If we are Emperor Palpatine, the spuds are the younglings.
Yep.
That we order the podcast to go and murder.
As long as they're not Leia in Obi-Wan.
No. But we promise we won't kill too many of you spuds out there.
That's when you know
innocent little younglings.
That's when you know it's the end of an era, when the free-to-air show starts talking about a show on Disney Plus.
A lot of you might be wondering, what the fuck are they talking about? Episode 66 is the final episode. OTAT can't come to an end. You may have noticed over the last month or so, we've been a little bit inconsistent.
It's been 3 weeks since
since
the
last one for the road.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. It's been 3 weeks since the last episode. We took a couple of weeks off due to just clash of schedules and.
Well, I'd say over the last couple of months in general, we've kind of been ever since, and the way we're going to approach this is complete honesty, because we think we owe the POTAT that much.
Of course, you've been with us from the get-go.
You've been with us, especially for the day oneers out there. You guys are owed an explanation. We don't want to keep putting out an episode every 2 or 3 weeks, dripping you content when we can muster the passion to come in here and do it. We would rather go out on what some would call a low, or we're going to consider it a high.
A bang.
We're going to go out with some sort of bang with our heads held some sort of high.
Chin up.
Chin relatively up. It's just, I don't even know where to start, Jacob. Why are we ending the show?
Well, I think...
Why is it coming to an end?
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's been a great project to have created, to be a part of, and it's awesome to see some of the progress that we've made over the time. Interviewing Rick Donald, actor, director, phenom. It's been great to get, first episode we got some traction from the honey badger.
Mm-hmm. From the heights of Donald to the higher heights of, I wouldn't say high heights, from the different heights of honey badger to the heights of the even higher heights, the Alps, the Himalayan Alps of the animal chin in San Clemente, California.
Yeah,
Foreign
absolutely.
correspondent. It's been a ride.
I've gotten to know Tom's dad very, very well without actually ever meeting him.
Mm-hmm. From sitting down with Pac talking about Kanye West, I never thought I'd have my dad on a podcast. Definitely never thought I'd talk to him once a week through a review. That's been nice.
I didn't think I'd have my dad on a podcast, and I feel like my thoughts are a little bit more solid than yours. I think mine are going to come true for some reason.
Yeah, I think
don't see any surprises coming from my dad.
Now that the podcast is over, I think now we both go back to not talking to our dads.
Yeah, you can join my boat of complete separation.
Yeah, part Australian, part Chinese is like, okay, podcast is over. Now what do we talk about?
But we've seen some twists and turns. We've had a lot of fun doing it, but it is time to call a day on the project. I think the biggest thing is with a project like this, you want the best ability you can have is availability and consistency. And when you're not making something consistently on a week to week or day to day or fortnight, however you want to do it, having consistency and bringing that to the fans, you guys, is first and foremost. That's the golden rule. And I feel like because we haven't been able to commit that time, the energy has gone a little bit, like it's a little bit disjointed when we do record. We love doing it, obviously, but we don't want to be putting out something that's half baked.
I think that's a fair assessment. It's something that's just. If we were both in a position where we had all the time in the world, we weren't driving over to Bulimba in peak hour traffic at 5 o'clock.
Morningside.
Tom still knows the geography. Hasn't learned a thing in 66 episodes.
Typical GC boy. And just, what's this? Is this the Brisbane River? No, that's a pond. Okay.
Well,
Is that Suncorp? No, that's a bird. That's not a stadium.
Where's Loch Ness in this whole situation?
Oh, where's the Caco? Okay, we're no longer in Brisbane anymore, mate.
We're on the Gold Coast.
We're in Kansas. Yeah.
If we were in a position to, I suppose, have a bit more freedom scheduling wise, or maybe it's that. Who knows what excuse to put it down to, right? All that we can say, because it could be scheduling, it could be the concept itself. We always said the free to wear TV well will never run dry.
And you know what?
From the start.
You know what? And look, we didn't even get to this Neighbours finale.
We didn't even get to the Neighbours finale. So what does that say about us as people?
A show that was on air for 35 years.
We did an episode of Neighbours though.
We did do an episode of Neighbours.
But we didn't do the Neighbours finale.
No, which is coming in a few weeks' time.
It would have been bad. You guys go and watch that. Maybe that can be an O-Chat reunion. No promises. But whatever you put it down to, all that we can say is when you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. And I don't want to sit here and pretend to be feeling it, nor does Jacob, because you guys can hear it when we're not feeling it.
Sure.
We can feel it when you're not feeling us. We know. We go, okay, that wasn't our best work. I just put out something that wasn't my best work.
Yeah.
And that doesn't feel good.
For sure. We want to give you the best version of this every time. And if it's for whatever reasons, if it's not at its best, it's not fair to you guys. So we'll give you a big thank you at the very end of the episode. Briefly, we do want to say thank you so much, but we'll get into that further into the episode.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, Jacob.
It's actually kind of ironic.
It's time to celebrate.
Tom's bought an $11 bottle of Prosecco to mark the occasion.
Hey, we don't need to We don't need to enlighten the spud to the budget of the
Sorry.
alcohol we buy.
We really dipped into the kitty this time.
For all you guys know, this is $1,100.
yeah, it's
a
Maschio.
Maschio Prosecco. It's chilled.
It's Prosecco. It's not champagne.
It's I went to the champagne section and I went, "Is this the only champagne you've got?" It starts at about $60, and he went, "I mean, Prosecco's technically champagne." I was like, "Is it though?"
Is Prosecco made in France?
Well, he said it's like a sweeter champagne.
Sweeter. I thought you said Swedish.
No, not Swedish. A sweeter.
Oh yeah,
champagne.
we make a very good champagne.
A champagne.
Champagne.
I thought I'd get something to celebrate.
Yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet, but hopefully this popping off can help us pop off and celebrate a little bit.
Listen to this.
I'm kind of wincing.
Jakers.
Oh
Yeah. Yeah, that Spuds.
I was just about to ask, do you want me to do that, man? You've got very spindly little fingers.
They're called piano fingers.
You got fingers like the legs of the bloke from Maths.
Yeah, my legs are spindlier than John. Sorry, my fingers are spindlier than John Aikens.
Curious to watch how you pour Prosecco.
Dude, I did this
Good
just
man.
the other day.
Good man. Yep. Yeah, that's it. You got to angle the glass.
Thank you. It's like a beer.
Correct.
I poured both.
No one wants too much head in their $11 Prosecco.
No. There you go, Jacob.
Thanks, brother. Really
It's
appreciate
yours.
that.
Spuds, I wish you were here with us to share with us.
Yeah, look, I'd like everyone to take just a moment. If you're in your car, maybe not that safe, but do it anyway. If you're operating heavy machinery, even less safe, but do it anyway. We'd like you to raise an imaginary glass to the end of an era.
The end of an era.
Goodbye for now, but not forever. We're very happy about this project. There's been a lot of ups, not a whole lot of downs.
Can't count the downs.
And we're very happy with what we've been able to create. And we look forward to the next potential project in the future. Cheers.
Cheers to everything you just said.
Cheers to everything I just said.
Okay,
you don't usually say cheers to something after you've made a toast.
I thought you'd like summarize that. So here's cheers to...
You do it.
Cheers to the Spuds.
To the Spuds.
To the Spuds.
This is actually fermented through a potato. And it tastes like chips as well. You know, like
Dude, that's like $11.
You know when you get Macca's after a drunk night out, and then it's in the iconic brown bag with the big golden arches. There's always going to be a few loose chips at the end, and you pass out with your burger in your bed, and for some reason you kick the paper bag with the soggy old cold chips under your bed. Completely forget about it for a few days, and then a couple of days later you muster up the energy to clean up your room. Find a brown paper bag. Oh, what's this? A little present to little Jacob Perrier. All right. A couple of cold chips. Look, I've heard that these don't ever go moldy or bad, so let's have one. It tastes like Prosecco.
Okay. I think those chips are actually made. I think Prosecco is actually made from those underbed chips. From the bag chips that are left in your bag, left under your bed. That's what they make Mashio Prosecco out of.
Yeah. So like the what do you even call them? The developers, the brewers,
Yeah, the Prosecco brewers.
the distillers.
Well, you know, they say like...
So instead of boogeymen being under the bed, it's just a bunch of weird French dudes who are just scrounging up like moldy potato to put...
Monsieur.
G'day, cunt. Give me your fucking old potatoes.
Well, they say that... what's that really shitty beer? They say that Crown Royals are made with like
Lager.
the Crown Royal lagers. Crown Lager?
It's Crown Lager.
Is it changed?
There was never royal in it.
Crown Lager
Maybe there was.
is made with the dregs of every other beer.
Yeah, for
For a long time, I heard that.
for a beer that's like positions himself as like, yeah, Crown Lager. And I remember when I was young, I was like, that's got to be the most expensive beer on the planet. If
Yep.
they're calling it Crown, and sure enough, any shitty Christmas party for work that you've been to, any function where they put on the cheapest basic bar tab, it's what's that Tasmanian beer called?
Furphy?
No, that's
Victorian.
That's Victorian. All the cheap beers. So Hans Super Light, Tui's New, and then
Crown Lager.
Crown Lager.
Hasn't it fallen off? Because as a kid, it came with Prestige, and now I can't remember a single
Good
time
marketing.
in my adult life. From someone who drinks a relatively high amount of beers, I have never been in a room where someone's gone, yeah, get me a Crown.
Do you know what it is? It's whoever it was who created Crown Lager. It's the equivalent of in Step Brothers when they want to make their own enterprise and they call it Prestige Worldwide.
Yeah.
With no real business acumen, financial backing, or savvy at all. No real common sense to be spoken of. End up crashing a, $1 million yacht into the rocks of a marine. That's what Crown Lager is the equivalent of.
Crown Lager
Prestige Worldwide.
is the Prestige Worldwide of the beer world.
Crown Lager.
Prestige, yeah, worldwide.
Get some class on your way to pick up your Centrelink check.
Yeah, and I think the Machio Prosecco is the Crown Lager of the champagne world. So thanks for drinking with us, Spuds. It's not all doom gloom this week. We did want to we wanted to give you something to go out on a fucking have a giggle. We didn't want to go out on a low. We wanted to go out and just treat this as any other OTAD episode.
Yeah,
it just happens to be the last one.
With a little markup in the alcohol percentage of what we're drinking. But speaking of the end of an era, speaking of shit alcohol, we had an interesting time last Friday night, Tom.
Last Friday night was your house cooling, Jacob.
It was my house cooling.
How many eras are ending right now? Is this not like the tide's changing?
It's a weird time. It's been a strange year, to be fair. I mean, starting off with nearly back-to-back floods.
Yeah.
Fucking mold infestation, World War III.
El Nino.
A shitty election going on all in the background. A lot of stuff going on. We're in the midst of a hectic State of Origin series. Like I could go on all day as to this being a very tumultuous year. And to cap it all off,
Shane Warne dies.
Andrew Simons dies. And to cap it all off, fucking move a house.
Jacob has to move.
I have to somehow pay a removalist when I don't have the money to pay him.
Well, lucky the champagne's on me.
Oh, it's a good man. Let me clink your dink.
I wasn't gonna bill you for the $6.
I think I owe you for a vape anyway. So
yeah, I think you might.
That's been in the back of Tom's mind. I've got a bone to pick with you, mate.
It's all right. Wait till payday. It's not like I bought a Nintendo Switch today. I don't need it. No, Jacob is. If you've ever been to Lewin Street in Barton, which you
thanks for doxing me, bro.
Yeah, well, you don't live there anymore.
For when this episode comes out, I'll be there for another 48 hours.
They don't know the house number.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you could live anywhere on that street. If you're listening to the show, maybe you're a friend of Jacob's and you have been there. Maybe you live there. Beautiful big Queenslander, pool out the back, and probably the best group of people living in it. Fantastic.
I mean, we moved in there in the midst of the pandemic in 2020. I moved with two of the best people that I know. Shout out to Will Heathwood and Alice White. Moved from an absolute shithole of a place that ended up getting burned down by an arsonist 4 weeks later. So it's probably time to move out of a house that was decaying rapidly. And we were looking for a house with four of the other best people in the world: Zach Adams, Hannah Mitchell-Moore, Charlotte Adams, and Matt Villalba. Shout out. And we came across this beautiful house that I would say is probably 1.5 million worth. This is before the housing boom that has happened in the past year. And there was like 20 other people walking through the house, 2 big verandas, 5-bedroom with sunrooms on 2 of the bedrooms, 2 kitchens, a massive backyard with a chicken coop.
Garage for beer pong.
2-car garage for beer pong, not for cars.
Not for cars.
A pool to keep our bodies
Dick
wet.
sweat.
Yep. And we walked out of it going, there's no chance. There is absolutely no chance we're getting this place. And sure enough, we applied for it, and within a week we were in.
Bang.
It was just the stars aligned, and it's been a fantastic place to live. But the owners are kicking us out, so it is the end of an era. So we decided to throw a little house cooling, because that's what me and my housemates, we don't do many things, or I don't do many things well. They do a lot of things well. One thing we all do well as a collective is put on a fucking shindig.
You threw a good party, Jacob. I'm not going to lie. It was a good party.
If you are listening and didn't get an invite, I'm going to blame social media because I'm not on it, okay?
Okay. You should have just known.
Should have, well...
You should have heard it on the grapevine.
Yeah, exactly right.
Or the party happening itself.
Clearly didn't keep your ear to the train tracks.
Did you get many complaints the noise variety on the night?
Interesting thing is we didn't get any noise complaints. I think we got one of our housemates got a missed call from an unidentified or a private mobile number. And one of our friends who happens to be part of the force, he said, yeah, sometimes they'll call you if there's like a noise complaint just to see like if you can turn it down. Like it's easier than them coming out there. So no, we didn't have any police turn up. We actually registered the party, which if there's one piece of advice, I'll probably give many, but if there's one piece of advice I can give, if you're having a party, register it with the police. This is not putting you out there to say they're going to come to the door. This is simply if your neighbors put in a complaint, the police will look into the system and go, okay, yeah, they actually registered a party for their nan's 200th birthday or whatever the case may be. And yeah, we didn't have anyone turn up. We did have our neighbor who was backing onto our backyard. I would like to say passive aggressively playing music the next morning. But it's not like it was abrasive music. It was like, it was playing like bossa nova trumpet music, like very John Coltrane.
Probably just calmed you down. Helped you
It
through a
was.
hangover.
I was hungover as shit cleaning up 100 beer bottles.
Is that out of character for that neighbor to do that?
It is. They
Okay.
they never play music. I was like, I wonder if
Okay.
this is like a little like, I'm returning your serve.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you're returning my power serve with a fucking lob drop shot, which I'm just going to bang right back into you.
Yeah. Speaking of, Kyrgios is playing Wimbledon tonight.
Yes, Wimbledon is on, ladies and gentlemen.
Wimbledon is on.
No Ash Barty, unfortunately.
Which we'll get to. Maybe. I mean, the beautiful thing about a house calling, Jacob, is you don't have to care anymore.
No,
You don't have to face your neighbours. You can be as loud as you want.
It was a big DGAF. Like we still did the courteous thing of dropping around letters and saying, "Hey, heads up, we're having a party." But yeah, no complaints. It's bittersweet because I'm looking forward to the new place I'm going to be living. I'm going to be downsizing a little bit, but I'm also sad for the end of the era, which is why we needed to go out with a bang on Friday night.
Go out with a bang. And I'd say you did.
To an extent, it wasn't quite as hectic as the last party. I mean, you didn't end up vomiting all over my bathroom or my carpet.
I was very well behaved. Compared to last time.
You controlled the chaos. You were Odin with Loki in one hand and Thor in the other, and just going, "I got this."
Yeah, and the chaos is always there, Jacob.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's always within. You know,
I can see the little flicker in your eye.
yeah, the twinkle.
Should probably get that checked out.
Get me some LASIK. Ooh.
Now tell me, when you look, you see this sparkle. Okay, what do we need to do for you?
I'm reading the Harry Potter books at the moment, and Dumbledore is constantly referred to as having a twinkle in his eye.
That was.
I think he just needs LASIK.
Where were we the other night?
It was your party.
No, we were having dinner, or was it at the party when
Yeah.
we were talking? You were like, "Yeah, dude, I've been fucking reading as well. I've been reading Harry Potter." Everyone just like burst out laughing. What are you, 28? You fucking.
It was after I made like 8 Harry Potter references like naturally into conversation as well. Jordan was like, "Is that why I mentioned McGonagall 5 times?"
I must have missed that because all I came in on was someone talking about them reading, and you're like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude, I'm reading as well." And they're like, "Oh, what are you reading?" And you're like, The Harry Potter series.
No, that was Steven at dinner. Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
He was like, "What are you?" The Serbian Sev, who's like, "What are you reading?" He's always reading some high literature.
This really intense guy who's just talking about Tolstoy or Dostoevsky.
Gave me Clockwork Orange as a present for my birthday.
Did he?
Yeah, yeah.
That tells you what you need to know. Don't fucking talk to him about Prisoner of Azkaban.
As his copy of Clockwork Orange sits there on the bookshelf untouched.
You can see the flicker leave his eye real quick when you're bringing up the fucking hippogriff.
Yeah, he's like, "You are a hypocrite, you hippogriff, you wallowing wimp."
Yeah, that was pretty good, eh?
That was good. Somehow we got riffing about Harry Potter, and Jacob brought up the wallow. He thought the
Whomping Willow.
Whomping Willow was called the Wallowing Wimp.
Couldn't remember. I was like, what's the? I thought about it for a moment because you said you were reading Chamber of Secrets, and I was like, what's the big fucking tree called again? Is it the Willowing Womp or the Wallowing Wimp? And you're like, no, it's the Whomping Willow. I was like, I was pretty fucking close.
You're like, Wallowing Wimp, that's me.
Literally, just the vowels were off, and instead of it seeming like an alpha chad fist of a tree, it seemed like a beta branch.
Yeah, dude. It's almost an anagram of the opposite of it.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
They actually cut that scene out of the movie after they dealt with the Whomping Willow. They walked past like into the entrance, and the Wallowing Wimp is like,
You guys are late for dinner.
Yeah.
it's like, shut the fuck up, Branch. I'll fucking end you.
Its twigs are just like sagging along the ground, like knuckle dragging, just so sad. Kicking
Yeah.
rocks, but just,
But also like presenting, like bending over and presenting itself because it's like a a subordinate animal. So it's just
Yeah.
like conceding defeat to Ron and Harry, who are just still in shell shock from nearly getting obliterated by a giant fist of a tree.
And then in number 3, in Prisoner of Azkaban, when they go down the passage of the Wallowing Wimp, of the Whomping Willow.
In Prisoner of Azkaban, yep, I'm with you.
Leads through to the Shrieking Shack. That's him, that's his arsehole, and he's bending over just asking for it as the Wallowing Wimp. Please enter me, Crookshanks.
So they don't actually go into the Whomping Willow, they go into the Wallowing Wimp in Prisoner of Azkaban.
They go into the Wallowing Wimp.
That's why it's so wide and gaping. There's enough room for them to crawl in.
Yeah, they switched out the Whomping Willow for the Wallowing Wimp just for number 3.
The Whomping Willow's butthole, it's can't even see light. And
No,
the
Whomping Willow doesn't have a butthole.
the sun does not shine down there for that thing.
No, you can't. It doesn't have a point of attack or a point of entrance. You don't just get inside the Whomping Willow. The Wallowing Wimp, you get 3 teachers, a cat, a rat.
And it's saying, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry that I can't fit more of you.
I would have your friends, but I just can't.
Oh, no, just bring them along anyway.
I'm full to the brim. I'll make it work. Wallowing Wimp, you got very high pitched as soon as I went inside you just then. Even more so than usual.
This is the first thing I've felt anything in decades.
Dumbledore's such a good man. So the party was good.
Yeah, I bet you really enjoyed that Harry Potter tangent. Like you've had like what you've read the 3.5 books in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So you
I
just
watched Prisoner of Azkaban last night.
yeah.
I'm going to start our next project, because stay tuned, there will be more projects. Just a Harry Potter podcast.
Just saying goodbye and on the way out, just like, oh, I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be back.
I'll be back in Tremont Studios doing Harry Potter.
So
content.
let's riff some new ideas. You want to do a Harry Potter podcast? Do you?
Would you? Well, you'd have to be reading it at the same time as me.
I mean, I'm not a very fast reader, and I'm usually easily distracted, so it might take me a while to catch up. Maybe it would only work if I was like, hey, I started book 1 today. I'm halfway through. You can start tomorrow, because then we'll probably finish at the same time.
Yeah, and I would say I'd be ahead of you at all times.
Oh, for sure.
At all times. And then that may present some scheduling issues. But I could sit here all day, Jacob, and tell you tidbits from the Harry Potter books that aren't in the Harry Potter films.
I think that's a kind of I like it as a concept to really ochre blokes with mouths like sailors who are just talking about a little British wizard with a scar on his head.
You know what it's called? The book was better.
Okay. Not bad.
Okay, I guess not.
The book was better. I don't mind
The
it.
book was better.
It's very ostentatious. It's very, yeah, the film was fine, but they left out a lot of detail from the book.
The most annoying criticism of any film is someone coming out of it who has read the book and going, the book was better.
Imagine doing that with like the video games of books. Like, oh yes, the first Harry Potter video game, it's all right, but they forgot the part where Snape.
It's so annoying, dude.
Get over yourself.
And it's like, it's okay for number 2 and like Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban. The films are almost, especially for Chamber of Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone, the films are almost just scene for scene retellings of the books.
Yep.
Because the books are short enough to fit into a 2.5 hour film.
Sure.
That's when we go back to the podcast idea, that's when you're just finding your feet and you're going, this was good in the book and this was good in the film. It's all in there. When you get up to book 6 and it's 700-800 pages, none of that is in the movie. There's so much they leave out. And that's when you really get into the weeds and you go, okay, this wasn't in here. This wasn't in here.
Yeah.
I've been watching deleted scenes from the Harry Potter films.
Wow, going that deep, eh?
Yeah. I could tell you so much, Jacob.
I actually did hear the other day that the Pokemon, that's what I've been doing recently. It's a lot of Pokemon. Aren't we two fucking alpha? Just absolute giga chads. One's on Harry Potter books and one's playing Fire Red on his laptop.
I'll trade you 3 Dumbledores for a Pikachu.
For a shiny Charizard.
No, you know what they call Harry Potter fans?
Potheads.
Potheads.
Yeah, potheads.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, dude. That's us.
Get around that, brother.
And what do they call Pokemon fans? Pika Jews?
I mean, yeah, we're willing to both cut off the ends of our dicks and then.
Are we leaving that in?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
The show hasn't been, not anti-Semitic up to this point, so.
No, we've been pretty pro-Semitic.
Yeah, pro-Semitic for sure.
Shout out to my Hebrew brethren and sisters out there.
So that's
Pikachus.
Pikachus. Did you know that when in Prisoner of Azkaban, when they all...
Oh, that's a good drop.
Is it though? Have some more, please. Is that really a good drop?
Daddy's got to drive. I guess I'm going to be using 2 lanes on the way home.
Jacob.
Swerving.
Drink to your capacity, please. When they go inside the wallowing wimp in number 3, did you know that in the book, the reason they can get down there is because there's a little trunk at the bottom of it that when you press it, the whole thing freezes.
I do vaguely remember that from the books.
Yeah. Oh, so you did read the books as a child?
From the movie. Yeah. No, I read the books as a child. I think the thing is, though, I read them at such a young age. I was probably not that young. I probably started at like I read them a couple times. First time I read them when I was 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
Read them properly again when I was probably 11.
Yeah.
But got to Order of the Phoenix. Is it Order of the Phoenix and then Deathly Hallows?
No, it's Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, so when I got to those last 3, I was literally reading them for closure.
Yeah.
I wasn't reading them for enjoyment. I was like,
enjoyment.
fuck it, just tell me what happens in the... I don't give a shit about... Oh, Snape's not evil. Oh, the fucking Voldemort's soul's in 7 different pieces. I don't fucking care. Tell me that Harry ends up cucking Ron and fucking Hermione and making beautiful children instead of little ginger troglodytes running around Hogwarts.
Just make this a love triangle at this point.
That'd be sick.
Make it a fucking 50 Shades of Grey fuck fest.
With Harry, Ron, Hermione or Harry, Ginny, Hermione?
Harry, Ron, Hermione. 3 best friends end up realizing they're not actually best friends and they just want to fuck. So it's a devil's threesome.
What about 4 and it's Ron filming and they use Cedric Diggory's cadaver as the third
Hot, dude. Hot. I'd pay good money to read about Robin Pattinson's dead cock. Dead stiff rigor mortis cock. And Hermione going down on it.
I call it Le Dick Suckery.
Yeah, dude. Le Dick Suckery. Fucking Lumos that. Light that up. Put that up in lights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Expecto Abonum.
Said Dick Diggory.
Yeah. Pretty much the same as what I said, but mine was Le Dick Suckery.
Yeah, nice. Cedric digging my arsery. Yeah.
I say Diggory with...
Good stuff.
Yeah, so that's the first idea for a new podcast, but we'll
Eyes peeled. Stay tuned.
We'll workshop some other ideas and get back to you on that.
Yeah. It is fun though. I've never been the guy who comes out of a film and goes, the book did it better, because I've never usually read the book. So it's really fun to read the books, go back to it, and then call your friends who have only seen the films, who are big Harry Potter film buffs. Shout out Roy, seen every film and thinks he's a big Harry Potter head.
Pothead.
Yep. Yeah, you can't be a pothead without reading the books. You just can't. You don't know half the story.
No.
So I'm just blowing his mind every time I call him. Like, dude, did you know that the fucking Whomping Willow is actually the wallowing wimp, and they go inside its arsehole?
I don't know if this is too harsh of an insult to use, but Roy, you're the equivalent of a muggle trying to do magic.
I'd say he's a mudblood.
Oh. Not a slur?
Yeah, so we keep in the anti-Semitism and take out the mudblood.
Take out the MBs.
The MBs. Ooh, it does feel dirty. J.K. Rowling did a fucking good job of making something that's not a racial slur sound like a racial slur.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty insulting at the end of the day. Just saying someone's got a murky lineage.
Yeah, filthy mudblood.
Your blood is kind of like turd.
Yeah. Other things sound like, there are other terms that sound like racial slurs that aren't racial slurs.
Like,
I don't want to say it in case it is a racial slur because I'm not 100% sure.
I can edit it out.
People from
Yeah, I know what you're about to say, and
Is that a racial slur?
I think it depends. If you're from Pakistan, you can probably say that word.
Yeah.
But
You just fucking...
I don't give a
I whispered Pakistan.
but you didn't say it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Jews for Jewish people
Yeah.
can sound like a derogatory term, but it's not.
Louis has a great bit on that. He's
It's all about context.
Yeah, Louis C.K. has a great bit on like Jew is the only term that is like both the correct word and the racial slur, just depending on how you say it. And he's like, do you think Obama ever just like would slip in all the Asian people, the Hispanics, and the Jews?
Yeah,
And, like,
it's
just something
it's
just off color.
The accent.
Yeah.
If you put the accent on it,
Yeah.
a little bit of joie de vivre.
Yeah, that it sounds fucking very anti-Semitic.
Sorry, this Prosecco's going right on my head. I'm using La French terms.
What was it? Foie vui?
Joie de vivre.
What does that mean?
It's like a little bit more energy, a little
Yeah.
bit more life in it.
See, words have been hitting me different lately. And this
Okay.
again,
Wait on me. If you fucking read a couple of books and now words are hitting you different, bro, get me high.
this is where reading is good for you. You know, you pick up new words, you expand your vocabulary. This was actually in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I picked this one up.
Excellent read.
Have you read it?
Not in a long time.
Yeah,
Not in
okay.
a long time.
I didn't realize it was the first of a series. So
Yes.
I finished it and I was like, okay, 42, the answer to blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, and then we headed on to the last restaurant in the galaxy. And then the person I was reading with was like, yeah, there's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my point is, in that book, Jacob, someone uses the term balletic.
Balletic.
Balletic. What do you think it means?
You actually described me the other day with this term when we were playing touch footy,
Yeah.
and I did like a little pirouette to get around someone.
And he scored a try.
Balletic is someone who is of ballet, has the ability of a ballet dancer.
Yeah. Yeah. Of balletic nature.
Yes.
I suppose you could say.
Yeah, someone with flair,
Yeah.
a little bit of eccentric movement.
Ever since I read the word, because you know what it means as soon as you see it. You're
Balletic,
like,
yeah.
balletic. And the way, the context. in
So you
which
didn't
it's
Google
used-
it?
No. Well, the context in the book is like, it's clearly balletic.
So if I Google it right now, I told you completely different definition, it wouldn't blow your
Well,
mind.
it would mean that Douglas Adams used it incorrectly in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. My point is, ever since I read the word, I was waiting to shoehorn that into a conversation, into real life.
It's a fucking great word.
And you gave me a big fucking pirouette and then scored a try and went, Jacob, that's the most balletic thing I've ever seen.
I think I even went up to him and was like, because I'm running, I puff hard. I'm very unfit
Yeah.
after like
Puff the vape, puff touch.
Yeah, had a vape on me on the field.
Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? And you're like, it's someone who has who is a ballerina-esque, someone who has some grace in what they do. Right now, I don't know why I use the word looking at you, Jacob, but
No, you had tendencies that would lend themselves to ballet in that moment for sure.
look, I'm nowhere near a professional footballer, but you get me down to a casual TRL game, mate, I come
balletic, motherfucker.
I become Hazem El Masri, mate.
I get balletic with my beretta. It almost, because the word itself, balletic, is quite staccato and almost sounds aggressive, but really it means dancing around pirouetting.
Yeah.
Balletic beretta. you know?
Yeah, or like bayonet.
Bayonet. You know, it's very...
Yeah.
ra-da-da.
It does have
Balletic.
It does have a bit of oomph to it.
Yeah, but it actually means quite the contrary. It sounds like... It means this, but it sounds like this.
Back to your point about reading and with films, I think it is very important that, and like you're not going to get this opportunity every time, but I think it is important that if you, outside of Lord of the Rings, if you want to watch a movie or if you want to get into like a fandom, reading a book is a good idea to do it first. Actually, now that I'm saying it, I don't know, but I feel like when you read the book, you push yourself to imagine certain things, what people look like, what locations look like, the description of a landscape, what someone's weapon looks like. And then when you watch the movie, I feel like if you watch the movie beforehand, you get that stuff incepted.
Yep. It removes the task of imagination.
But I guess
It removes the ability to imagine.
I guess it goes both ways though, because if you read the book and then watch the movie, it's like, that's not what fucking Harry's meant to look like.
Yeah, but it is if it's accurate, you know? Like they do it, like Dumbledore is an old man in a fucking wizard hat and a beard. And as long as you get like the the fucking tangibles down, no one's going to be that mad, you know? Like, a case of it is like, what are those fucking Tom Cruise movies?
Mission Impossible.
No, the other ones.
Top Gun.
No, his name's like John something.
Oh, Jack Reacher.
In the dad always complains about it because in the Jack Reacher books, because
He's
of course
tall?
dad's read them. Yeah, he's like fucking 8 foot tall and he's massive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, not 8 foot, but he's like a big fucking hulking dude. And
Yeah,
then they cast
true.
Tom Cruise, so it's like,
So really, they should have gotten Luke Cage to play Jack Reacher.
is Luke Cage the short black guy?
No, Luke Cage is like the Netflix Marvel show about
Yeah.
the big black dude who's basically the thing.
Yeah, okay. As long as they get basic things like that right, people aren't going to complain. But you're right. When I'm reading Harry Potter now, I'm like, I almost don't have to pay as much attention.
You're picturing Emma Watson when a Hermione scene comes up.
100%. And I'm picturing Dumbledore and I'm picturing Hogwarts. One nice thing, this is why it's nice to read them after you've seen the film or just read them in general. But Dementors in number 3, in Prisoner of Azkaban.
Very well done.
Dude, the Prisoner of Azkaban is the, like, hands down, if not the best, the second best Harry Potter film. It's so well done. Alfonso Cuarón, who directed Gravity, directed it. He was Christopher Columbus did 1 and 2.
Yes.
And then Alfonso Cuarón did number 3.
Yep.
And he just fucking knocks it out of the park. He brings like a whole different
Dark dynamic.
Yeah, and the amount of establishing shots in Prisoner of Azkaban of just the grounds, like, he gives you such a sense of beauty just around the Hogwarts grounds. Flying like Buckbeak, when Harry's first flight on Buckbeak,
Yeah.
the toe in the lake is euphoric. Like I know, and that word is overused, but that is such a beautiful scene, and it's not in the book at all. So like, there's great additions that he made to it. But one of the differences from book to film, the Dementors don't fly
In the
in the
book.
book. They kind of glide along the ground, like they kind of just like creepy
Float.
they kind of float, but they're not like flying around the Quidditch pitch up in the air with them. In that scene in the movie when Harry is flying the broomstick and
In the storm.
and the Dementor catches him up in the air.
Yep.
In the book, he's like flying around the Quidditch pitch, and then a bunch of Dementors just walk out onto the ground. And then he starts getting, so they don't even suck your face in the book. He just gets like weird around them.
It's their presence makes you disoriented.
Yeah, but only Harry, because he has such trauma in his past that they feed on it. He has a fit on the train when that first one comes
Yes.
in the book and in the movie.
Yep.
But they don't, that effect they do in the film where it's like he's sucking his face off. That doesn't happen in the book.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's just kind of like,
Because what are they
just kinda
doing?
has a fit.
What are they doing? They're sucking your happiness.
Yeah, they feast on your happiness, but they only do it to Harry. They only do that face sucky thing to Harry in the book. In the film. But he's so affected by it. It's again talking to someone about this last night. But the Dementor logic is a bit contradictory, because the way Professor Lupin explains it is the Dementors feed on your happiness. Is this getting a bit too in the way?
No. Please, I'll let you finish your thought.
Dementors feed on your happiness, right? So that's why you make a Patronus and then it fights them off, because that's from a happy memory.
Yep.
So that they feast on that Patronus.
Sure,
instead
Harry
of-
has the stag. Yep.
Harry has a stag. But Lupin also says that's why they're so attracted to you, Harry, because you have such trauma in your past that none of these other students have. Voldemort tried to kill your parents, etc. So they come for you. So I'm like, okay, do they feast on happiness or do they feast on misery?
Okay, I've got a counterpoint to that. That's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
Maybe not blow your mind, because I've had 2 cheap shampoos.
I love that
but
we've gone, this is Execute Order 66 Star Wars themed episode. Now it's all Harry Potter.
It's all Harry Potter. Who
Yeah.
gives a fuck? You're listening.
Yeah.
Listening to the last episode of On the Air Tonight if you didn't hear before.
Yeah. It's so sentimental at the start. Really doesn't care.
This is, you're now listening to NPR on J-I-Z-Z in my mouth. So,
For J-I-Z-Z.
So it's contradictory, because they feed on happiness, but they only go after the people with the most trauma.
Yes.
So the reason why that works, you ever heard the expression? I was just swallowing. I had a little.
No, I know.
I was bracing myself. Do you know the saying like the light is the brightest when there's in the dark? Or like, it's basically about contrast. So you wouldn't know how white is if you didn't know how black is. Okay, so when it comes to light, a light one singular light in a dark room is going to seem a lot more bright because it's got shadows to accentuate it.
Yeah, one candle in a dark room looks brighter than a candle in the sun.
Correct. So if we take that metaphor to the point of what Dementors feed on, yeah, feeding off some simpleton, if they fed on fucking Neville Longbottom, that's great, but it's not sustainable. I'm eating fucking kettle chips, okay? I need...
Oh, I got hung up by pixies. I'm so sad.
Yeah, I want to fuck... Actually, to be fair, that kid's been through a lot of trauma. I forgot.
But it's cosmetic trauma, you know? It's like I got bullied. Your parents didn't die.
Yeah, exactly. Cedric Diggory before his fatal demise.
Yeah.
If they were feeding on his happiness, it's like, this is just like me drinking like a Slurpee. I need a HSP. I need a fucking big souvlaki. I need something with a bit of depth and complexity to it.
A Harry Stephen Potter, HSP.
Harry Stephen Potter, even though it's James.
Yeah, the HJP.
HJP. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
It's got my initials in it. But yeah, that's why they feed on Harry, because his happiness is so well accentuated because it's completely surrounded by all of his trauma and darker days.
Interesting. So you think when they're sucking his face, they are still sucking his they go for him because of his happiness, but his happiness is only so happy because it's contrasted by such misery.
What's better for you, Tom? Let's say if avocado was light or happiness. Is it better to just have avocado plain by itself on a piece of toast? Or is it better to mix it up, season it, maybe make a little bit of guacamole, bit of garlic, bit of red onion, salt and pepper, lemon juice? You need to get complexity in it. And complex happiness is the tastiest happiness. Speaking from a Dementor's perspective.
Spoken like a true Dementor as well. His cold, rattling breath heard from under the hood.
Well, speaking of sucking up some happiness, what I really want to suck up now is something that's going to make us happy, which is the last time we're going to read reviews from Smoked Paprika and from TAC.
I hope both of you, TAC and PAPC, listen to Harry Potter, read or watch Harry Potter, because this whole final episode may be a waste to you. But it's not a waste to us because...
It's not really. We kind of described the entirety of the Harry Potter universe to you in the containment of this episode.
And if that's not impressive...
I don't know what is.
Then we don't have a future podcast concept called The Book Was Better.
Snuggle with a Muggle.
Yeah, I like that. We'll start with Dad.
Brilliant.
Because we'll still see Dad, every now and then.
So I got to meet him.
You got to meet him.
I mean, if I don't meet him now, it's kind of like, well, remember we had that thing? That thing for 2 years?
Through Tom and through some months.
How did it end up like this?
Here's the review. Episode 65 covers Tom's veganish diet, Tom's secret relationships, autism, and state of origin predictions. Turns out the origin predictions weren't far off. The review the animal chin left left a lump in my throat. TAC are only telling us now, after all this time, about his special needs son shows what a great guy Christian is. A lovely dad indeed. I'm working my way through Love on the Spectrum USA, and it's as sweet as the Australian version. Really well done. Making me look at special needs people in a different light. Makes sense they want a romantic partner like the rest of us. I wasn't sure how the free flow format was going to go at first, but it's still excellent. A real highlight in my week. Always look forward to it. 10 out of 10 cheesy vegan dinners for the boys again. Keep up the good work, lads.
Hell yeah. I love a cheesy vegan dinner.
A cheesy vegan dinner.
Isn't that an oxymoron? Isn't that the whole like happiness and trauma thing all over again?
Well, I think what he's saying is, it is a contradiction. And I am a broken vegan. And we're all just trying our best.
I do somewhat feel sorry, but I also enjoy when people start prodding you at work. Like, oh, he's not really a vegan. He has chicken nuggets. It's like, you're fucking eating a roast beef sandwich.
Yeah.
Covered in blood.
He doesn't claim to be vegan, though. It's not 1,000 people doing it. It's not one person doing it perfectly. It's 1,000 people doing it imperfectly.
Good man.
Am I right?
Someone's had that up their sleeve their entire life.
I mentioned it last time on the pod. It's up the sleeve and it comes out quite often.
Reusable ace.
So it's sweet to get a little bit of interaction between PAPC and TAC. That's nice. Pap calling out Tack for being such a good bloke. Pap calling out Tack going, hey, he's such a good guy because he hasn't already told us about his special needs child. Sorry, I was just going to say, like, it wouldn't make much sense if Tack just started reviewing a show and said, hey, I've got a special needs child. That might be a bit strange. It does have to come up in context. But I understand Dad's angle of
being able
he doesn't lead with it.
Being able to share that information.
And
it's not like he's wearing it as a badge of honor going.
No.
And like he could have very well done that with some of the opinions one person on this podcast was presenting about love on the spectrum. He could have gone, fuck you guys. But instead he went, hey, listen, I get ya. This is the stuff that I go through on a day-to-day basis, and this is how autism is a part of my life.
It shows the man is battle-hardened this season, because the shit that he would have to listen to on this show that is fucking problematic, offensive to a lot of people, especially to someone who has a child who is a special needs child.
Yeah.
You could very easily put your hands up and go, this is not for me and I hate it. But TAC sits there and he goes, you know what? I appreciate being challenged. I appreciate shitty takes.
I will say, letting you in behind the curtain here, seeing the magician's tricks, but after we had that Love on the Spectrum episode, I came over to Tom's desk for us to go get lunch, and he was like, bro, we just got a review from TAC. And he's like, he's talking about his son has autism. And I my heart stopped because I'm like, oh fuck, we're gonna get roasted. Like we're gonna get roasted by a parent. Like this is bad. And it was really heartwarming. It was truly subverted expectations. I suppose that's a fear, is that if we say something on the show and someone goes, hey, what you said was really fucking offensive.
Yeah. Well, when I saw the subject line in Gmail, I was worried for a second for sure.
Palms got sweaty. And not out of like, it wasn't even like, fuck, TAC's going to flame us. He's not going to blow up at us, but I don't want to disappoint the guy. Yeah, the last
I
thing
don't want him to be like, that's enough for me, boys. I'm not going to listen to any more OTAT. That would break my heart.
And that if he had a beef with it, that's how he would broach it. He wouldn't be like, fuck you. He would go, hey, listen, what you said was a little bit off color for me. I think you guys need to check what you're saying before you say it. I'm done with you.
He's from a generation of old. TAC's from a generation who, like, can you imagine?
Do you know how old he is?
Well, he doesn't have Instagram. He's got a child. He's not a millennial who. What I'm trying to say is he doesn't get offended at everything that he hears. And
so just taking shots at the Zoomers. Yeah.
Well, my point is like someone who has given you so much, right? Like we've given each other so much, TAC. But I'd like to say that we have given you 66 whole episodes. To throw that all away over one take or one comment, it's like when Kanye comes out with a shitty political rant and everyone's like, fucking cancel Kanye. He wore a MAGA hat. Like, that dude has given us so much, and I might disagree with the takes that he has.
Are you really going to cut your nose off in spite of your face?
Are you going to write this guy off because you disagree with one thing he says? Or is everyone human and humans are complex, and that may be one part of what he believes, but he's still a good person? Generally, you might disagree with the one thing. So
you've got to take the whole thing into context.
You've got to separate the art from the artist, take the whole thing into context, et al., another cliche.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada.
Don't ever say et al. In my presence again. I'm so sick of et al. And I've only heard it 3 times.
That can't be the 3rd time I've said that to you.
It's maybe the 3rd time I was listening.
It must be 14th. So I don't want to get wrapped up in the TAC aspect of that because he has his own review coming. Dad, from the bottom of my heart, it means a lot that you have reviewed every single week. It's very sweet of you. Not many fathers would stick around for their sons. Shitty creative project that doesn't do a whole lot as far as creatively or anything different or offer a whole lot. Maybe I'm just being overly humble now.
You are.
Thank you, but I would just like to say thank you for sticking out every single week. 66 reviews. Every single review since day one, Dad has sent something in.
The only way he could be more consistent is if we were more consistent. This guy is home run after home run, just ding a city.
And it's not as, it would make more sense if we were doing like a State of Origin, if we were doing a fucking All Blacks podcast. Dad would listen to it and actually enjoy it.
Bro, if we were doing a Bob Dylan breakdown.
If we were doing a Bob Dylan breakdown whilst eating cold oats, it would make sense if Dad was there every week.
Brilliant.
But Dad doesn't listen to any other thing like what we do, which is just nothing. He doesn't listen to... He enjoys television and free-to-air, and he enjoys things like Rick Donald and blah, 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 blah. But like, especially since we've dropped the format of television and it's just us freestyling, that is so not the demo for him.
For sure.
And he said it to me before. He's been like, oh, it's like not, I'm not, I don't love it, but I'm not the demo though.
It's, yeah, not his cup of tea.
But he still listens to the whole thing.
Yeah.
He still sticks around for something he doesn't actually enjoy that much, but because it's his son and his friend, he sticks around and writes a review every time.
Unconditional love. It's very, very sweet. Must feel very, very nice. I can only imagine.
Stop it.
I'm joking.
Your
No,
auntie leaves reviews all the time.
my cousin does.
Your cousin, Mum of Mermaids.
No, Papk, thank you so much for everything that you've done. I don't want to focus too much on one person. I want to give the time to Christian Reese as well, but I also want to give a thank you to everyone else out there. So let's get through Christian's
Let's get
review.
through TAC and then we'll move on to the spuds.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read TAC?
If
you want to read it?
I'll read it, yeah.
You read it. You read out one last TAC. One last TAC.
Starting to
TAC.
Starting to feel real now.
I know.
It's weird. Boys! Exclamation point.
Really savoring every letter for this final review.
You gotta. When you're this close to the end, you just drag it out.
You just read it 4 times over.
Oh, God. No, I won't do that to you. Boys, reviewing today remotely from Beverly Hills while celebrating another year of being married to the best and most beautiful woman on planet Earth.
Sweetheart.
Get any more sweet, I'll get diabetes, mate.
Stop it, TAC.
Glad to hear Tom has a special friend he's making risotto with. I pictured it a lot like Lady and the Tramp's spaghetti scene, which is very heartwarming. Just don't let that be the OTAT Yoko.
If anyone's wondering, it's not. That's not why we're breaking up.
Do me a real quick favor. Get some footage of you guys doing the Lady and the Tramp scene with 1 grain of risotto.
Yeah.
Just both of you at one end and just already kissing each other. Just, no, it's mine. It's not going to be 50-50. Someone's got to get the whole grain of rice.
Of course. Yeah, one little grain of rice. That's our soft launch on social media. The first time anyone's seen it in my life. I was sucking a single grain of rice.
Sucking some risotto down together. Oh, yuck.
Yucko.
Continuing on from Christian Reese. Appreciate your kind words regarding my son and loved hearing Jake was one of the amazing people who care for and about kids like mine. As for this week's free to air, you finally found an Australian knowledge gap of mine as I know nothing about rugby, but it was fun to listen to and stoked to hear you guys are having some exciting sport that isn't based around passenger 57. Ooh, even when he's lacking knowledge, he's just got the fucking quick fire shots at Nick Kyrgios.
Yep.
I give this pod 10 out of 10 scrums because I'm pretty sure that's a rugby thing.
Well
Would
done.
recommend. It is a rugby. It's more of a rugby union thing. In league, they kind of just pussyfoot about. They don't really take much.
They don't push much in the scrums, TAC. I don't know if it means much to you, but they don't push in league.
Exactly. There's really no commitment, much like the majority of the sport.
Okay, dude.
And that is signed off by TAC, kind regards, Christian Reese, JD, Esquire, full stop. Christian, I mean, let's not ramble on about it too much.
Before we get sentimental,
Okay.
Just sorry to cut you off, Jacob.
That's fine.
I just want to say it is astonishing that it took 65 episodes to find a knowledge gap in TAC's Californian mind.
To be fair, he wasn't here from the get-go, but nonetheless, for 20 to 30 episodes.
There's not much I guarantee if he listened to all 65 from the start, he would know every single one.
Yeah.
Every single thing we were talking about. Joel Edgerton, he'd know him. Neighbours, he'd know it. There's nothing the man doesn't know about.
Yep.
So we won't talk about rugby anymore just for you, TAC.
No, we won't. What we will say is it was an absolute spark plug. That's an understatement to say it was a spark plug. To get an email out of nowhere from someone, at first I thought it was a scam, someone from San Clemente, California going, I found your podcast when I was looking for a show. You guys are fantastic. I've enjoyed every minute from it. So Christian, I just want to say thank you so much. Wish you all the best, mate. As I said, I really do want to show appreciation to Papk and to TAC.
Sorry, just quickly.
Go on.
I think I just want to touch on this. The fact that we saw in our statistics, you can see where people are listening from. And when we saw someone was listening from the States, we went, okay, it's a glitch.
It's a scam.
It's a scam. There's a glitch. We don't have an American audience.
Yeah.
And then there's just this motherfucker who calls in every single week from California. I just want to echo Jacob's sentiments of spark plug, yes, but yeah, an absolute, we're doing something that people actually connect with on some degree. As much as we eat humble pie on this show and poo-poo ourselves and self-deprecate, the people who stick around every single week, especially people who live on the other side of the world, who stumbled across it, have no idea who we are before or after the microphones are turned off, that means a lot and gives us a whole lot of confidence as to what we're doing is making some sort of impacts on people's lives in the smallest degree. But the fact that there was a guy on the other side of the world who was fucking with us kept us going for a long time.
It's much easier playing tennis when you've got someone hitting the ball back to you.
100%.
And it's
engagement is everything.
Engagement is everything. So being able to see, and this is me speaking to Christian Reese, but also to the wider audience now, to every single spud out there, your involvement in the show, your support has been nothing short of fantastic. We've enjoyed every moment of having you guys listen to us and give us your opinions, whether they're good, bad, ugly, honest, not honest. You guys getting involved is what makes this, it's the fuel that keeps this car going. And that's not to say that because the fuel ran out of the car.
Out of fuel ourselves.
Yeah, we're not, that's no one to blame.
But ourselves.
Exactly. I would say that thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I'll let Tom say a piece as well, but I do want to thank everyone who has been in, has given us a listen. Obviously, if you're listening to this right now, you're going to get the thank you. If you're not listening, that's fine. I thank you too. It's been a wonderful ride, and I really do appreciate you giving your time. Because, you know, in a busy week, it's not easy to find a time for an hour and 10 podcast of two blokes talking absolute gobbledygook.
Time is finite, Jacob.
Time is fine.
Time is finite. Time's fine. It's also finite. And the fact that people out there, I'm going to shout out your slim cocks of the world.
Keith,
loved having you on the show. Loved your reviews.
Jordan,
loved having you on the show. Loved I think he reviewed it as well. He did. Matilda Swooney.
Tilly. Yep. Clitzy Poondexter.
Poondexter. To anyone who's left a review, I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone out. Serene, thank you for the shirts.
Boat Boy,
McFuckface. Rick Donald, thank you so much for coming on. That was amazing. I'm so keen to see what you do next.
To Dan and Rossi from Trademark. This doesn't happen without you. We record in this fucking state-of-the-art studio that we could only dream of having enough money to put into and having a facility like this, and
really makes you wonder why we're walking away.
Whilst
Such a good thing.
Whilst the what we're speaking about isn't of primo content, you can agree the sound's pretty okay. And if you're watching it, fucking nice room, really nice studio. So we really do appreciate. And we had a really good chat with Dan, the owner of one of the owners of Trademark, before this recording, and he's been one of our biggest fans from the get-go. Massive support for us in times when imposter syndrome was at its peak and we were either feeling, and speaking for myself, don't know about you, but insecure about things or down about, not motivated.
Dejected.
Exactly. Having someone who is going, nah, you guys are fucking fantastic. What you've got is brilliant. Keep it going, has been invaluable.
Yeah. So glad we met those boys. At the risk of sounding like a long acceptance speech, I think if we're at the Oscars at the moment, we would have been played off about 10 minutes ago.
Playing the MASH music?
Yeah. I didn't know they could play us off on a podcast. That's so sad. We should play the MASH music to get out of here. Am I in a dentist's office at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday?
Sure, Klinger.
Alan Alda? Yeah, that was him.
Yep.
Go watch MASH, greatest show of all time, apparently. So they say. Most watched show of all time, the MASH finale.
It was on fucking free to air for a little while.
Yeah, it was. We never did a MASH. We never did a MASH. But at the risk of, outstaying our welcome, I don't think we can thank you guys anymore. Keep your eyes peeled. Who knows what's going to come next? We just need a bit of time away. But if you want to look personally, I think Jacob, he doesn't have social media right now.
Let's not put anything into the future. Okay, let's just stay in the moment.
Let's just stay in the moment
and time to say goodbye.
I just want to say that if people, just in case people want to stay in touch, Tom Farrelly with 3 L's on Instagram. That's all you need to search.
I'll be back. I'll be back on socials in the coming time.
And if we do, if there is anything that comes up that we think the OTAD audience needs to know about, the account's still going to be there. You can flick back through the TikTok reels, the Instagram reels, the content, and find your old favorite bit. And if there's something new, we'll chuck it up there.
Absolutely. To throw something free-to-air related at you to sign off, some of you might be old enough, some of you too old, some of you too young to remember the show Roller Coaster on ABC Kids. The iconic host of the show, Elliot, would always sign off his show the same way every day. And I will do the same in saying goodbye for now, but not forever.